They're gonna try. I think there's gonna be a little resistance.
Please say your name, followed by the pound key.
There's just way too much evidence out there that's being hidden, and why? There can only be one reason why for all of this. And I've said since day one, since this first came down, we were gonna first shut the county down, I said, are we gonna destroy our economy every time a bad version of the flu comes rolling through? Because the collateral damage is much worse.
Do the Pledge of Allegiance. Huh?
Oh, Terry's not coming?
Terry's not going to be here today.
All right. Good thing I showed up. Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So yeah, Terry's not here. He's dealing with a family issue this morning, so.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so I guess we'll consider for approval minutes and agenda,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and agenda.
and I'll second that. So motion by Jensvold and seconded by Smith. And is that something that we have to vote on? Or we
Yep.
just- okay, All of those.
All in favor?
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So that has been approved. Number 2, discussion with possible action regarding COVID-19 policies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you guys today?
I'm good.
Well, nothing has changed. Currently in Region 2 for the RMCCs, we have 27 in the hospital, 23 have COVID. In the last 24 hours, 2 were admitted, 8 are in ICU, 6 are on ventilators, and we have had 1 death in the region.
What's our percentage then?
What is the size of the region?
What was what, Bill?
What is the size of the region?
The region consists of, and I'll give you the counties, Cerro Gordo, Chickasaw, Floyd, Franklin, Hancock, Howard, Cassuth, Mitchell, Wright, and Winnebago.
Okay.
And Susan, you asked what the percent was?
Yeah, I had a lot of people asking me this last week after you told them our percentages from last week.
There's a lot of people in the region, so very low.
They can go on the coronavirus.iowa.gov website.
Yep.
And look under the positivity case rate, because that's where I'm going right now. That's where I get my information. And it is loading. Just a second here. We are, the past 14 days was 10.5, and the past 7 days was 7.8.
What's statewide then?
A second, I'm gonna get off that button. Hold on.
The population of the region will be at least 100,000. That's 0.0002% of the population that's infected.
Iowa is last 14 days is 7.8, and the last 14 days is 7.8, and the last 7 days is 8.
Okay.
And then we did get some free saliva tests that they could pick up here. If they suspect that they have COVID and want to be tested, they have to call our office, and the nurses will run the test out there to them. But they are responsible then for mailing it in and everything.
Do you have any idea of how many of the people that have been hospitalized in the region have been fully vaccinated?
I do not have that information.
Hi, my name is Ethan Smith, and I've been a certified profit advisor in Iowa.
I do not have that information.
The Iowa
Okay.
So are we doing anything different than normal? Or we're just giving out those free tests and if they're necessary, and how do people
Right.
send those in? How do they safely send that stuff in? They take it to the,
Yeah, there's all instructions in this kit. Allison is out of the office this morning, and she just told me I could mention it. But if they have any questions, everything's in there. But if they have any COVID symptoms, they cannot come into the office here. They just need to call our office. Our nurse will go out there, talk to them, tell them what they need to do, and then they just send it in. They'll have the label and everything else for them.
where are they?
It's all in this kit.
Where is it sent to, Julie? I'm just
The state.
curious.
The state hygienic lab.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. Well, I guess I don't have any other questions. You,
Not me either.
anything? Okay. If there's nothing else, Julie.
Okay. Now, next week I am on vacation, so I will not be in the meeting.
Okay, we'll remember that.
Alrighty?
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Julie.
Stay safe.
Yep,
Yeah,
you
bye.
too. Bye.
That's interesting. So Scott Minders, engineer, discussed secondary road matters.
You're not gonna try and use the fancy phone and punch it in and get him?
Not me.
It's been long enough. I probably have to think about it for a while. I haven't had to do it in a while. I got a really good memory. It just doesn't last very long.
You don't yell down the stairs anymore?
Hey, is Scott around? We're ready for him in our meeting up here. He did. Perfect. Thank you. Guess I just called the engineer's office, not actually Scott. It's on his way.
We probably through a lot of research could find the number of people who are COVID vaccinated, who now have COVID. Again, if you look at this logistically, we're working with a vaccine that's outdated. Because now you have the Delta,
Oh,
the
it's
Lambda, the Gamma variants, and all these.
It's been happening forever.
Yeah.
If the vaccines really were the real answer, we wouldn't have the flu anymore.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's in the temperate, I don't get it. It was in 1988, they changed the law so you couldn't sue the vaccine companies, and after that, our amount of vaccines has just exploded exponentially. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? All of a sudden, they can make us pay for it, and we can't get it reimbursed for getting our bodies damaged. Which not everybody is damaged by it, obviously, but still,
It does happen. Yeah.
it is happening.
Good morning, Scott.
Morning.
Short one today?
Well, it would have
Gotta
been,
wait
except
till
I
10
have a
a.m.
10 o'clock appointment, so.
Yeah, that would have been nice if that one would have been about.
Short meeting, I see what you're
We
saying.
didn't
I was
offer
more or
for-
less saying we're short one supervisor.
Well, that
Oh,
too.
that too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we really hadn't noticed.
Yeah, short agenda
We might
today.
take advantage and
Oh.
have some sandwiches brought in.
Hopefully.
Anything?
I don't have too much, just wanted to mention that we have asphalt patching going on this week. They're working on the salt shed parking lot, and then they'll be doing some patchwork tomorrow around the county, Rice Lake.
It's like, okay.
Some of the repair work on 838. Our 72-69 intersection there at the north end of the seal coat we did. and then the tile crossing on E16, the patch over top of that, those 4. We're kind of in the middle of the parking lot here. We had some, I don't know, standing water issues that was very surprising, so they're gonna do a little bit of sub-drain work. Our guys are here in the next couple days before we can get in there and pave.
Oh,
So that was unexpected, and we'll take a little time to get that shaped up, but
Parking lot where?
down at the salt shed
Oh,
here in town.
All right.
you can take the no markings signs off of that blacktop over there.
Yeah,
It's like, somebody said, looks like the markings are on there.
It's exactly what my daughter said when we were on our way out to the golf course the other day. And I says, well, sometimes people need to have a little extra warning so they can look for the markings.
yeah,
He says, I'm sure they're just being on the ultra safe side, not the fact that they don't have enough time to take them down yet.
you got it. We'll get them down soon.
They ain't hurting nothing.
No, they're not hurting anything, but yeah, all the painting is done around the county, so that's nice.
That was interesting that you sent that email out. I thought that was really interesting, the cost of painting lines and how many gallons it takes, and that's a big number.
Yeah, for sure.
Not something everybody thinks about, you know?
No, it's good to sit down and put those numbers together too, to make sure I'm, keep a handle on it and make sure that's the right way to do things.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was gonna mention, my staff and I kind of agreed by fall, we would try to offload the old dozers and scrapers that we have in the yard. And so here we are, on the brink of fall here. So at this point, our leading option is to put them on a website called GovDeals and have them auction off on there with a reserve.
Didn't you have them on the sale?
They were not on the
They
sale.
were not?
No.
Did you have some of them on there, didn't you, a while back?
Not the dozers.
Oh, okay.
We had an idea that we would have time to work on them and get them running.
Stuff. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And that
That never happened.
hasn't happened. It's hard to spend time on the stuff you're not gonna use as opposed to the things that you need to use and keep running, so.
So you'll put them on this website as non-operational then?
Yeah, we'll pretty much just tell them what we know, that they were used on a project in 2010, and they were put away running and working, and as far as we know, they should start up with a little bit of maintenance. But that's all we really do know, so we'll just try and spell that out the best we can. And even if they're running and good operational, they're not worth, real big money, we don't think. So I think we kind of don't have too much to lose.
Cost you more to work on them and get them going?
Yeah,
If it starts up and runs, it's usually a lot better on the sale. It's the local sales that I've paid attention to.
I agree.
Maybe it would be feasible to hire an outside mechanic to come in and because if it just takes batteries and a little priming of lines or something like that, usually diesel fuel doesn't deteriorate too bad. That would be worth the while.
Yeah, we've tried a couple avenues that way and haven't found anybody with time to do it.
Oh, okay.
Mostly kind of friends and people we know. And, they're not something we can load on a trailer and take to a shop or anything.
How many are there?
No,
There's two,
Two.
and then there's 3 scrapers, one of which is more of a parts machine. It's missing the front wheels. So these are all would take quite a bit of work just to get them out of the yard.
those should probably just need just a set of batteries and
Time, yeah.
which, I mean, that you can do that. Where the batteries are at, or what you gotta take off to get to the battery compartment, but it can't be too long.
Yeah. So, not a final decision, but that's the way we're looking here as we get closer to fall. We don't want to really have them sitting around through the winter.
So when you sell them like that, then the buyer comes and loads them themselves. And
Yep, so the buyer in this case, if we sold them as is right now, the buyer would come to the shop, tinker with them until they run, bring a trailer and load them up. So, you know, in one sense, that's pretty good because we know our cost is zero.
Anything else?
So I have,
All right.
If I have anything, I can't remember it.
We'll go on. Auditor's office discuss drainage matters.
Do you want to email me those places you told me the patching was at, or do you want to just tell me now?
I'll email it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Carly, anything about the Reno Dry?
Yeah,
Do you want to tell Chris that we're ready for her over here in
you want me to just look at that
the
real quick?
boardroom? Thank you. Morning. Hey. How's Chris?
I am good. How about you guys?
Good. Terry's out. He's with his dad today.
Oh, okay. I don't have anything other than on the agenda.
That means we can go to 5 with discussion with possible action on DD 5 Lat 19 tax levy.
Yes. So we talked about it last week, how I had billed Lat 19 because that's where it started. Landowner was not thrilled with that option. In talking amongst us throughout the week and whatever, a point was brought up that had they not cut through lateral 19, this would have never happened. So it is a problem with lat 19 because the private ditch dug right through the lateral. So I don't know how you want to proceed. It was talked about billing the whole DD5. Well, is that fair? Is that right? So it got back to where we felt like it should be the lateral 19. It's the problem with lateral 19.
Because we kind of backpedaled a little on this, you know, as we were discussing it, but then the more we talked about it, it really was an issue with 19, not with
The district.
the district itself. So,
And this is the billing of the repair of lot 19?
It's the engineering fees because we hired an engineer to classify that lat 43.
Did repair that lot 19, did we not?
No,
We never did?
that's what the 3 landowners are going to work together to come up with an agreement, and then lat 19 would just be below the ditch and things above, because it doesn't work now anyway.
I think that was a good point. That was not something that we had considered during the meeting itself.
Right.
That really the original problem was only with that lateral.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was any fees involved, it made sense that it should be charged to that.
And I know that some of these landowners didn't request this, but anybody can request it, that's their right as a landowner.
Mhm.
We have done $1 million project with one name, so everybody has that right.
If that tile hadn't been cut through that ditch, the landowner that requested it would have had drainage from the get-go.
Yes.
Right,
Well,
So,
except for lot 19 was in disrepair to the ditch, is it not?
but if it would have been
But
still
years
in
ago,
place,
they could have fixed it
They
and
could
done
have
it
fixed
right.
lot 19 and skipped the ditch, in a sense.
and then who would have paid for it then?
They would
If
have,
we'd have
The
fixed,
same people,
Yeah.
lateral 19,
so, I mean, that
yeah.
kind of
right,
comes full circle there.
right.
What, do you know what year that private ditch was actually?
No, because it's private,
Mhm.
so.
But it was amongst their fathers, if I remember
Right,
right, so.
right. And
it
I
was
don't
at least
recall
back
what
in
they
the
said.
50s or 60s, I would guess.
I'm not gonna guess.
I think one of the dates that was thrown out was 69 or something like that, but I'm not sure either. But that lateral was there long before that,
Yes, yes.
so. So, is this something, because there's possible action, that's something that we should?
Actually, we wouldn't have to take action right now,
you know,
because it's already the way,
It is already levied to
We-
lat 19.
the action would have been to change it, to build the whole
Sure.
district, so we're just gotta leave it alone, I
We're
guess.
just, having a little discussion.
Okay.
Everybody's on the same page. That's how I think that's where I'm at right now.
And I don't have Terry's input, so, but it's still the two of you, if you both agree, I feel better that
Well,
It's the
if Terry
majority.
wants to rehash or bring it up again when he's here, then we can, we'll just put it on the
It can
agenda and
still,
with
Yeah.
possible action again, and, yeah.
Right, and
discuss
it's Susan's district, the landowners would be calling her.
and they have been, so.
and I still say, like in the past, like when we've talked about redoing just the lateral or whatever, we've never had a main pay for a lateral reclass.
And that precedent that's set there, I mean, that's something for us to certainly consider,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that it's never been done before.
Yeah.
Just because there's pressure.
Yeah.
For it is not the reason to make those changes at all. So I feel good about it.
Okay.
What's right is right.
And I'm not doing this to not get out of work. I would gladly, if you had changed it, made the changes.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm afraid of work. The reasoning behind it, I feel, is the correct thing for the district.
I was wobbling back and forth somewhat last week thinking about
Because
it.
we could think of another thing, but then when you get down to the beginning,
I mean,
it was lateral 19.
is it nice to spread out the cost, but I'm like, okay, you know, most people don't, lately, most people in the drainage district don't have anything to do with the lateral,
No,
so.
no.
Like I'm fond of saying, all's not fair in love, war, and drainage.
Right. So,
Well, it wasn't fair when that lateral was cut.
You could quote that,
Yeah.
yeah.
this is true. So I thank you for that. We'll just leave it alone. If landowners have any questions, they can call.
So how do you keep track of these notes for this for future reference? I mean, do you put that in the,
I can put it in this file.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just feel like it might be helpful for the future to.
We'll summarize a little bit in the minutes
Yeah,
too.
and you can always go back and look in the minutes.
Mhm.
But if it was in the file, that would make
Yeah, it'll definitely be in the file.
Yeah,
a little quicker.
I
You
keep
just- You can
this-
just go pull the file and say,
Yeah.
here. it
Here's
is.
what we did, this is what we talked about, I think that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
all right, well,
It'll
thank
be in
you.
more detail in the file than it will be in the minutes.
Yeah. Good question for the chair.
The county doesn't require property owners should notify the drainage department that they're creating new private ditches.
Strongly encouraged, but not required.
Okay.
I believe. Is
It's
that
not
correct?
required by Iowa code or whatever it is. It would have really been nice over the years had they kept track of where every private tile, because anybody can go out and put a private tile and connect it to a county main. They don't need to tell us at all. But it would have been really nice had it been, and it been on the maps, you know, this is the county stuff, and this color here is the private stuff, and then we know where all those connections are, so when you make a big repair, you don't have to worry about not getting one connected, it'd be a little easier. So. But that didn't happen. But a lot of it's on, in the modern day stuff, you guys got it all on their satellite information and all that, so the private contractors have it all. But,
What we have an issue with is when somebody goes in and digs a private ditch and they cut through a drainage tile. We've had a couple instances of that lately, and that's where we have an issue, and that needs to get solved. So that's where we have a problem.
well,
And there's no firm resolution to say, okay, you just cut into this, here go, now you must pay for it.
we find a
Yes,
lot
then
about
if
it.
they cut into that, then there must be a resolution, they must fix it. Or there must be some kind of resolution.
You usually find out about it long after the fact. And,
But that's why it's so important when we do come up with these kind of involved, crazy things, that we just keep following it back until we actually really know what happened. You know, one of the landowners was willing to just let it go, you know, and just didn't wanna have fights, you know, with neighbors and stuff, but in the end, it really just needs to be correct, you know, and so I feel good about it.
The district needs to run as intended.
Mhm. It's there for a purpose.
So it's an encouragement that there's no direct action that a landowner has to take. Says, oh, I just cut into the drainage system. Okay, got it. There needs to be a resolution though. Got it, okay. I'm done.
So
so
can
are
we
we
go
until
to,
10 o'clock.
Can we, do we need to take a 5-minute break because Dave Randall needs you to move your truck?
oh, really?
Yes.
We can do that.
Wow.
Sure, 5-minute break. Then we'll go to open forum maybe, huh?
Okay.
Been fun.
I must have parked in a
Where'd you
incorrect
park?
spot, right in front.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that'd be a problem.
I know.
What'd you do, park on the yard?
No, in the bird bath thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You see, she gets it washed, just it sprinkles.
Yeah, that's fine.
The most romantic spot in all of Winnebago
Well, I
County.
bet
Yeah.
it doesn't, I bet it's not my truck.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's my truck. No, mine shouldn't be in a spot that should be a problem.
Mine's way down in the corner in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But it's my Aztec, not my truck. I was gonna ride my bike today, but
There's a little chance of rain.
yeah, it didn't look too promising out there. And
Saw you at the Quick Star the other day, and you had your pickup, or your bicycle in the back of the pickup.
yeah, I was airing up the tires because I was gonna take the Hamel Park path. And I usually start down there by the Winnebago access and then work my way all the way around. I got out to, there's all kinds of activity right at the front entrance of Hamel, just off of the blacktop. And I just, instead of going through it, I just turned around and came back.
Yeah.
And usually I'll either ride the motorcycle or something like that, to something like this. But today it was just, no, not now.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
It was you, huh?
It was me, but there were no cones when I parked there, but,
Yeah, they
No, I
had,
think
I
they
see
want-
there was cones in a couple parking spots there.
yeah, but there wasn't then, so I think they just,
What are they gonna do there?
they just had a service truck backed
Oh,
into one of those right in front of there, and they
Oh.
wanted like 3 spaces, and I was in one of them.
oh, for getting in and out of the vehicle
Yeah.
without having, yeah.
That's a long ways around.
Yeah,
Looks like they're getting it done out there, though.
yeah, I've, stopped there on the way out of here and talked to them every time and see what their progress is. It's, sounds like they're saving the bell tower till last.
Oh, really?
I would have thought maybe you would want to do the hardest part first and get it over with. I'm sure there's, I never did ask if there's a strategy behind leaving it to last. Maybe there is something to do with building the scaffolding, probably.
Do we know if they found any additional damage with the stone as a block or anything?
I have not heard anything like that. I know the sheathing on the roof was pretty rough. But, yeah, it's, courthouse is an expensive habit.
Mm-hmm. Did you get this in your? This one about that,
Yeah, about
straightening of that?
$1 million to mitigate.
Yeah.
What a crock.
Ridiculous. $1.25 million.
You know, who gets that money?
I didn't get it.
It's funny how it's such a huge amount when they're getting it.
Mhm. So we don't have, I wonder if we could even call this Don Brown. And see if he is just waiting, you know?
If we have it on it for 10, we can't
You
change
can't?
it.
Oh, sure, there'll be discussion.
Yeah, we should have had that. Maybe that was the time he requested, I don't know, but it would have been nice to have had it right away, got it over with,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we had such a short agenda, which, I guess it's already 9:39, so
Yeah.
we still have open forum to go, so it could be a hot open forum.
Or we could, everybody else got back in here. Open forum, huh?
FDA approved, but they still got two studies on it, they're still 2 years out. How did they approve it?
If they wanna do that third, they wanna do the booster date. Right?
Yeah. We're so worried about COVID, how come we don't shut all the infected from coming in on our southern border? Ouch. You guys about ready?
I think so.
Yes, got the open forum done, so we can move
That
on now to
sounded like closed forum to me.
Well, we didn't want to disturb the other offices. I mean, you know, we're trying to be polite,
Okay, all right.
you know.
We haven't talked for a while, so.
Yeah, it's been ages.
Well, I'm happy to see you guys got caught up.
Yes.
Well, for the most part, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there are things we forgot that we were gonna tell each other, but, you know.
Yeah, you know.
You know how it goes. Yeah. You're in a rush, people trying to get you in for the open forum.
Yeah, well, you know, and we got a rousing open forum.
I was gonna say, if we can't get our open forum done in 20 minutes, we got a
I was gonna
problem.
say, we gotta figure out how to stretch this out for 20 minutes, so.
Carla's always got something, so.
Open forums now, just
Sure.
blow them off, guys.
I will take questions.
I have questions about, well, I reached out to Robert Schwartz about the bike path. I just have questions on he's gonna email me some information, but maybe you guys can even fill me in on some of the background, a little bit of it. But, so we maintain that,
I really don't know.
okay? how do we insure it?
ICAP.
ICAP. Okay.
What are we supposed to do with this?
Stamp it.
I refuse. Take it back.
I'm not taking it back.
I will bring it to you then. Again, I will let you proofread.
What did I do now?
This is gonna go down in the record books, this meeting, guys.
Oh my God. I'm grounded, aren't I?
Carly,
Not even gonna say it out loud.
Usually Carla's the one who grounds you.
What are you trying to say?
Oh, oops, sorry.
Oh, look at this. I
I
can't
know.
even get to the standards.
Sorry.
I've got big responsibilities over here. You're impeding my progress.
Sherry doesn't show up and.
The county is totally shut down because of you, so you do realize that.
I should fire myself over this one. Like, that is terrible.
This has gotta be good.
And she was in such a state of denial, she wouldn't even take it from you. I had to deliver it.
I'm fired. I'm fired.
Maybe just a reprimand.
No, I'm fired.
I'm not even gonna say what it was, because I think there are people in this room who just don't need to know.
Carla. Oh, that's good.
Here, let me read it. Oh no.
It's pretty good when you can get Carla to snort, laughing so hard.
I can't even find my program that I'm looking for. Good Lord. That's a bad deal.
Yeah, there are
Do you
people in
see
this
it?
room who should not know what's, yeah, that,
No, I mean, it's, and obviously,
You have to pass it all
three of the
way
four
around.
people have seen it, so there's only one person in the room left.
I know, and she should not know about this.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Goofed up.
Yep. It's a bad deal.
The hard part is she's looking really hard for it, but it's blatantly obvious.
Yes.
And she sees it finally.
But you know, you could think of the resemblance.
Yeah, there is a stark
I just have
resemblance.
one.
I mean, you know, there's a little hair, color, and.
Maybe now she'll understand my
200.
refusal to stamp.
Good. Well, I've only been here for 8 months.
It's only misspelled, Susan. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine.
Now, I can see how they both start with an S.
Yeah.
I took Lindsay's first letter for hire that I hired her and just changed the body. I didn't even look at the top. So.
Well, you could call past supervisors Stenrud in and he could make that work for you.
Somebody call Mike.
Work on it.
Maybe he'll approve this.
No, I will fix it. I super duper apologize. Well, you can see at the bottom, I don't even have Lindsay's name on the bottom of the letterhead, so it is a bad deal.
Well, you had all that budgeting thing you had to worry about, and then, you know, there was the striping of the parking lot and
Oh, yeah,
leaf counting out in the yard just to make sure that we had the same number of leaves in the fall. And I can see how that can get a little behind.
Yeah,
Don't feel bad, Carl. This weekend I put my flagpole up in my yard for the first time in 7 years. And not to be sexist, but every single female it seemed in the neighborhood was over there telling me it's crooked.
Then it probably was.
I mean, I was adjusting and patting and, you know, it was hilarious. I think they were doing it in spite, though.
Why do I think that you probably deserve that?
I have no clue.
Nothing but sweet innocence over there.
I am the epitome of what you just said, whatever that was.
Yes, yes.
Kevin and Kevin were out there, and they were the ones that knew that it was my truck, otherwise I was trying to figure out how.
How they figured it out, called it into the cops and wanted it towed. Hi, Eric.
How's it going, buddy? You know how to spell Smith, right?
It's an alias.
Yes. Alias Smith and Jones. Remember that good show, Dave?
Okay.
For when the gentleman calls in at 10.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
Where are Kevin and Kevin right now? Are they coming in for the 10 o'clock?
Well, I don't know that answer.
They were right out front. I bet we could just holler out at them or call them. Okay.
Now, hopefully that looks a little better. It won't be grounded anymore. Wired or whatever.
I think it's just a stern reprimand will work.
I don't know, I kinda thought, I guess it's not, a good paddling wouldn't be woke anymore, so,
Let's not go there. I mean, that's abuse.
yeah. But some of the things that I remember most,
Probably the worst punishment I could have right now is they could take me up in one of those lifts up to the roof.
you afraid of heights, are you?
Yes.
Oh,
That would be probably,
Who was the one hanging out of the helicopter over at Operation LZ?
me.
She was sitting at the open door, and I'm on the ground because I'm supposed to be on the next press flight, and I see her
different.
zooming right over the top of me. And they got her angled and turned, and she's leaned like this over. And you're telling me you're afraid of heights?
I was in a seatbelt. That's different.
Whatever. Put her in a hot air balloon, she'd panic
Found
like
out
all hell.
I wouldn't go in that.
You would not.
No.
my son isn't like me, I figured that out. I mean, when I was a kid, I climbed the water tower and rake. And,
Who didn't?
I mean,
I wouldn't do that either.
they bet me $5. Goodness sakes. And I started climbing the TV tower in Buffalo Center, and then one of the guys from Alliant Energy that used to work there was in the restaurant up on the other side of the highway, and he looked up and they saw somebody going up there, and well, they were gonna pay me $20 for that. And he come out driving up there, and he goes, "What are you doing up there?" I go, "Climbing the tower." "Come down here right now." "Why?" "Who are you?" "If you can't tell, I'm not gonna tell you." "I'm going to get the cops." So why you went to get the cops? So I went down, and we all went out and hid in the cornfield. Never did make it to the top of that, but my son, we were trimming trees, and I built a thing for the forks on the tractor. It was like a little work basket or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was gonna have him up in there because I know how to run the tractor and loader better than he does. He was gonna trim the branches off. We found out he's afraid of heights.
We went up, when I was a kid, every 4th of July, we would go up on the water tower, it was a wide one, so it had this nice plank, like about a 7-8 foot plank right around the whole barrel of the thing. And we used to take up bags and bags of fireworks. We used to shoot them right off of that tower. And you still see the burn marks in some of the parts of the tower. Even though they repainted it, the paint just doesn't quite handle it.
Yeah, yeah.
We did that for years, and that thing had to be at least 20, 30 feet up in the air. and you had a railing about the
you
same
go out
size as these
to see the,
chairs.
Do the master matrix?
That's this Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have it
So-
scheduled. It's on my calendar.
That should be better.
Is this received?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Well, actually, you guys
Or do we?
You guys really should have wrote that letter because you're his boss, so you should really approve it. So it should be approved by you guys.
So we should approve it.
Uh-huh.
It's not on the agenda to do that, though.
Just approve it.
I'm fine with that. But, you know, I mean, I'll even make a motion.
You need a motion to
Emergency
approve?
quorum.
I think it's already been technically approved. It's just the
Yeah,
letter
no, yeah,
that goes with
we've
it.
already all agreed to this. So-
Yeah, it just needs stamped.
All right, so we don't need to make a motion, just
No,
take care of the,
yeah, it's just the paperwork.
and I'll hand it off to the big cheese and she can sign it.
Very easy.
Thank you. We have ISAC this week in Des Moines.
Well, we're expecting you to find out all sorts of
Well, the first,
information.
like the really important day is Wednesday. I have class all day on Wednesday on the American Rescue Plan. So that's probably one of the most important days.
Good notes.
So then when I get back, then we'll have a committee meeting and start really getting, but I didn't want to have any committee meetings before I really,
But the committee is set up
I
together
hope.
with you.
not from my office. Chris Colby's going, she's going to something different on Wednesday. Robert Schwartz is actually going on Wednesday
I was
too.
just gonna say, with what they had on their agenda for their next meeting,
Yeah,
the,
he's going to the American Rescue Plan thing too. I don't think Julie's going, she's got a lot going in her office right now. So, I think that's all that's going down this time. And then there's a lot on elections too, so it's a busy week.
so, our machines that don't hook to the internet,
Right,
are we sure they don't?
yep,
Positive.
positive.
There's no way.
No way.
Well, I know some of them, they, not the brand name that we have, but, some of them have a, what's it, 4G router in them, and they hook themselves to the internet. And you get in big trouble if you try and open them up and look at it yourself, which I can't understand, because we own the machines, right?
Yes,
So we should be able to do whatever we want to,
we,
if we had those machines.
yes,
As long as they maintain voter integrity. In other words, they're not going to, if you cast a vote for A, but it counts as B,
And
and you rig the machine that way, then that destroys the voter integrity, which that's all kinds of violations of state law.
we do rigorous testing on our machines before they go out to the polling places and after they come back to make sure that they test the same as when they go, as when they come back, as when they're there. We also hand count the precinct after they come back to make sure that what goes through the machine matches the hand count. And it always has.
it always matches the number that the state ends up with.
Yep.
To say nothing of the fact that we have to count the empty ballots as well too, so that there's no additional ballots that have been cast beyond what has already been done there. I remember one election that I worked, and yes, we came up with 3 different figures at one point in time, and we all slowed down. It was late, we slowed down, and we came up with the same exact number across the board. So,
They say that all 50 states had issues. And,
not in Winnebago County, I can tell you
yeah,
that.
but that just may, what kind of machines does Polk County have, It's, 'cause I can't see how they could do it at our level, because we're just, they almost always do it in big metropolitan areas where the
Mhm.
hacking has gone on, because it's much easier to get away with because of.
Because of the sheer population you're dealing with,
Yeah.
yes. In some locations, in some states, yes, that could present a problem. I'm not gonna say it has, but it could present somewhat of a problem because of the fact of the numbers that you're dealing with. The nice thing about the way Carla runs the elections here is that it's a simple way of doing things, but the simpler, the better,
Oh,
to be honest, because the minute you start making things
I
complicated,
am
well,
by-
you gotta have this, you gotta have
I
that,
agree
it
completely.
throws everything
I am
off.
by far a keep it simple, stupid guy.
And you ought to check out how she runs it here, it's brilliant.
I did make Bill and Terry go to training last year so that they could see and,
You really should, I mean, seriously, you should watch us work. There was a guy that works at Winnebago that I had to bow out of the last series of elections, but I recommended him. He's our producer for our West Hancock Sports. And he went in, took a day in my place, did it, and now he loves it. He wants to do it again and again and again and again. And he's trying to get his wife into the whole thing, and she might do it as well
was that
too.
Melvin?
Yep. He raved about it for 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm like, dude, seriously? So he had a blast, and he's gonna do it again, and I'll see if I can recruit more people, because the more people we get involved in this who are like-minded and keeping it simple and keeping it fast and efficient, the better it is. So. Anyway, she does a great job. I just got texted, I got a split. It's been fun. Let's do this again next week. What do you say?
There you
Same
go.
time, same place?
Same, yeah, I can make it on Tuesday.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's actually really good to hear, Carla. I mean, that has to feel good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Just don't bring donuts next time, huh? Okay? Veggies are great.
We do the best we can. I did we always try to take treats out to the polling place, and I took donuts to a polling place where almost everyone at the place was diabetic.
Oh.
So
Oops.
I guess I'm not perfect.
No. No, we figured that out.
You know what?
We figured that out this morning.
You know what, even diabetics like donuts.
Oh, I won't, I know there were people that will
I told AJ,
consume them, you know?
I said, give them to the kids. There's gotta be kids that show up. People want, hand them out. I don't know. I'm sorry.
There's just something about bringing a big old plate full of broccoli and cauliflower and carrots. It just don't have the same, it just have the same touch to it, even though it really says you care, because it's so healthy.
It just doesn't go with coffee.
No, I care, yeah, it's,
So, is it Don that was gonna be on? Don, are you on? Not yet.
yeah, it's 10 o'clock. 10:01 even.
So we just sat around. Well, guys, it's been fun.
It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun, is that what you're saying?
I've got some pressing
More important stuff.
Afghanistan issues.
Oh,
Why is that happening right now? We need to take the media's scrutiny off of something else that's going on right now.
Yes, And we are.
Yeah, it's funny how this all works out all the time.
In other words, third time is a charm. That's what, but, I had to speak with Senator Ernst here about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
She just confirmed that she wants to talk a little bit about what's going on.
Well, I don't know. The only way you could make a decision so stupid is to do it on purpose. Because I don't care how compromised Biden may be with his faculties, he's got teams of people around him that aren't. So,
20 years. Marking the occasion.
well, and it just goes to prove that we should have learned something from Russia.
True that. And other nations.
Must be.
All right, guys. Party, see you later.
Yeah, have a good one.
This is about the basement, right?
This is Carla.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
This is Carla.
Hi, Carla. This is Michael and Don with Reno Dry USA.
Yes,
How are you?
good.
Well, good. We tried the other number and it said it was out of service, so we tried this number and we
Okay,
got through.
all right.
So are we on with the commissioners or?
Yes,
Yes, we're here.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, good morning, gentlemen and ladies.
Morning.
Morning.
Gary, are you in the meeting?
Terry is not here today, so there's a possibility that we may not take action. I'm not sure, but we did want to discuss your proposal with you. If you'd like to
Okay.
talk about it, that's
That would
fine.
be just fine. Did you get a chance to call the references that I sent with the reports?
I did call, let me look here. I did call one of the counties. I can't remember offhand which one it was.
Was it in Iowa?
Yeah,
You know?
she said that she does notice that there's a little bit of, that it smells better. That's really all she had to say.
Well, that's certainly the first thing that is noticeable when a building starts drying out is it starts smelling better.
But then over the next number of months and over the next year or so, you notice that the walls are starting to change.
And all the moisture comes out, all the excess salt comes out, and there's a lot more fresh feeling in the building. Because a dry building generally is much more healthier, smells better, feels better when you're in it.
So I had questions about
Sure.
the warranty guarantee.
Sure.
How that works. There's a did I read it right, that it was 3 years?
Yes. Yeah, if we haven't dried out the building to your satisfaction in 3 years, we refund, I believe, 80% of the money. Right.
And
And then,
we only know that by how you come back and test it again.
yes, yeah, we come back in 1 year and we do another set of core samples in the walls where we drill into the wall and we take out a sample, we weigh the sample, we dry it out, and then we re-weigh it, and then that tells us the percentage of moisture in the wall. And by coming back after 1 year and after 3 years, then we can show you guys that we dried out the building. And everyone, you'll know the building's dry. One for one, I mean, we've never had to refund the money, so everyone's always very pleased with the results.
The one person I talked to did say that you didn't show up for the 1 year.
Who was that?
I can't remember who I talked to, but she said that you didn't come back for the 1 year inspection.
Was it Bethany Murphy
Yeah,
Do you
that could
remember that
be.
name?
Yep,
up at Taylor County?
yep.
Yeah.
No, I did go back for that. We did the 1 year, gosh, I don't know if I have the file on it. We definitely did the 1 year inspection there.
Yes, that was done. Sometimes we're not right on the button on 1 year. Sometimes we might be a little bit early. Sometimes we might be a little bit late.
Yeah, it's around a year. We might
Yeah.
come 2 months early, might come 2 months later after the 1 year mark, but we do it right around the 1 year mark, just depending on our scheduling. And they were very pleased with the results. Did Bethany tell you she was happy with the results?
Like I said, she just told me that she just noticed that there was less smell.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll talk to her again. I see her this week, so.
Oh,
good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, she's been pretty much of a cheerleader for us, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, it'd be good to talk to her. And there's another, is this the Iowa conference that you're going to, Susan?
That's Carla that's going.
Yep.
Oh, Carla? Yeah. There's another up in Osceola County, Sibley, Iowa. We're drying out the jail up there. Their jail is just disgusting when we saw it.
The old historical jail.
Yeah, the historical jail. And so we have our equipment in there, and Rachel is the county auditor, and so she's your counterpart there, and she will also, I think, tell you how it's worked.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very happy with it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it had mold and it had all, it was disgusting.
Yeah, you couldn't even use it for anything. There's mold all over the workbenches down there and the walls. Now they're figuring out what they're going to do with it because it's completely dry.
Yeah.
So this price that you have on the project estimate already has the 10% off?
Discount on it?
Yes. Uh-huh. We do that. It's something that we grant, and we believe that if a company has a historical property, it really should have that. We have a great respect for the historical properties in this country and their heritage sites as far as we're concerned. So we knock 10% off the price.
Did any of you get a chance to go down and look like in the valuable documents vault and see what was going on from those pictures that we took and the tests?
Yeah, I did.
I've been down there a
What
lot,
did you-
so I didn't go down afterwards.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's damp and wet.
Yeah.
So I had a question about the 25-year warranty too.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, so if in 25 years, for some reason, all of a sudden you guys notice that the building's getting wet or something like that, which would mean that there's something wrong with the unit, we would come back and replace it at no charge to you. So far, we've never had to do that. As far as we know, the unit should last 80 to 100 years. So we're just so confident that they're going to last a long time that we feel a 25-year warranty is a safe bet for us. And then you break that down over the years to keep the building dry, even if it only lasted 25 years, that's really inexpensive by the year to keep the building completely dry. But we think they'll last 100 years.
Yeah.
So this would be something, if we decided to implement it, that we should monitor yearly so that we can see and take like a picture of the worst spot so that we can keep watching to see if the salt is still coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely could do that. But you're going to find once the building's dried out and desalinated, there is no more bad spots. Once you guys do any renovation and repair work in the damaged areas after it's dried out and desalinated, it's going to stay in good condition from that point forward.
Yeah, you won't have to be doing it 3 or 4 years later and then another 3 or 4 years later. You can't renovate a wet building. And when we get the water and salt out of there, then you can renovate it, and the renovation should last.
So what happens to the salt or the surfaces that are hidden behind other walls and sheetrock walls?
Well, the salt's still going to come out, even though it's hidden. And so the salt itself will actually be out of the masonry. It's just that if you ever are able to open up those walls, take the coverings off or whatever, then you could scrape the salt off if you wanted to do that. But it'll still dry it out and desalinate those walls.
So the existing salt that's outside of the walls is not going to create any damage?
No, not once it's on the surface.
Once the salt is on the surface, it stays there even after this, right?
A little bit, but it's the salt inside the walls that's doing all the damage.
Well, they suggest that you clean it up
Clean the
and
wall
sweep it off.
Oh yeah, if you can, any salt that you do see, we always recommend wiping it up, cleaning it, brushing it off.
If you have painted walls and the salt's coming out through the paint, it's gonna bubble that paint and open it up, and you'll see salt nests and so forth, just like you do now. I don't know, do we have any painted walls? Do they have any?
No, I mean they do, but
I'm looking at the pictures here too, where we have what you sent. They printed it for
Okay,
us. So.
All right.
yeah, I mean those areas that we took the pictures of are all the exposed walls. You have some painted walls, but most of them I think are covered up by wood paneling and sheetrock.
Mm-hmm.
And if salt is a real destructive compound, and if you scrape it off and so forth, the salt will go away. Salt doesn't add anything good to your courthouse. It's not necessary in the masonry or anything like that. Water is. You have to have some water in the masonry and in the rock. They all have a normal level of water in them.
It's a very small percentage of water, though.
Very small. And the device doesn't dry the building out so much that all of your rock turns to dust. It dries it back out to the normal level that's supposed to be in the building. But the salt, some of it comes out through the wall, and you will see that. You saw it when you went down and did your own inspection of it. And it will, the drying out of the building will exacerbate that. But most of the salt will be in solution inside the wall and will go down through the capillary system back into the ground when the water does.
But it doesn't rise any higher than 6 to 8 feet, right?
Well, it won't once we put our unit in.
As long as you don't have painted walls that have waterproof paint on them, it won't do that. If you have walls that have waterproof paint on them, we just inspected a courthouse just this last week, and they had painted a big section of their walls with waterproof paint, which is the worst thing that can go on a wall at the courthouse, old courthouse. And the water can't get out through the waterproof paint, so it keeps going up. And this water was up as high as 8 feet. It was starting to look like it was ready to go up to the next floor above the building, above the basement. So, you don't want to do those things. The waterproof paint on these historic old buildings, you just shouldn't use. You can use paint that breathes. The walls have to breathe.
Okay. Did anybody have any other questions? These gentlemen?
Bill, you've been awfully quiet. Do you have any questions?
I'm just quiet because I know everything. I don't need to ask any questions.
Good.
No, I've dealt with surfaces and salts and wet basements for years. Done some construction work, and what you're all saying is true. Now, whether you know, it almost seems too good to be true in a sense that something works like this. How many of you know, like you give the 3-year guarantee? How many times have you guys had to do that to where it wasn't
Never.
working?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never had to refund the money. Everyone's been very pleased with the results.
And it's been used in Europe for 30 years now,
Yeah,
31 years.
That's what you guys said, that they used over there for a long time.
Yeah, and they've tried out some of the oldest and largest buildings in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you have ever traveled Europe, but they got some pretty big structures over there, and most of them are, like here in this country, they're wet. And you get a building that sits on the ground for over 100 years, and buildings shift around, they move, and you'll get a little crack or something, and that water will start to come up into the walls. It's true all over the world, and it's a problem all over the world. And this, the fellow who developed our technology, he's an engineer, lives in Hungary. He's the one that's manufacturing we've got the very top guy in our industry that's manufacturing our devices for us. He's the guy that invented it. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a genius. The technology is marvelous.
Like I say, it almost seems too good to be true.
We started this business 5 years ago, and we didn't have any references of any kind. And now we've got a laundry list of references, just because it's been working at every place that we put it.
Yeah.
Bill, you were saying something.
Oh, no, I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true in a sense. I mean, yeah, you have references and a lot of data to back things up. It baffles the mind that it can work, but I'm not saying it doesn't work, but
Well, the proof is in the results, and it's really no risk to you because we guarantee it.
yeah, well, there's 20% risk.
Well, right, okay, 20%.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got to pay for our gas to come up there.
Yeah.
So today you're on the agenda with just discussion and possible action on this proposal. So I guess I would suggest that we wait until Terry is back to get, I guess I never really got a feeling from him on
Get his input on it.
on what he was considering, and then he's not here today, and it was unforeseen, so we didn't have time to discuss it, so I think that we're gonna delay the possible action on this and discuss it again, and then I guess we'll probably get back to you.
Okay. When will he return?
Well, next week he had an emergency come up this morning and with the family, and
Oh,
no.
so it was very short notice that he wasn't here.
yeah. Okay.
But I
Well-
would say maybe we talk about it again next week, and then we'll go from there.
That sounds great.
Thank you
want
for
us to
your
check in
time.
with you? You want us to check in with you next week?
Should we do that again, put them on the agenda?
I can put it on the agenda.
Okay, we'll put you on the agenda again for next week.
Yes.
Would like, does earlier wouldn't bother you guys at all, or does it have to be 10
No,
o'clock?
not at all. Whatever time works for you guys.
All right, well, we do it 9:30,
Sure.
Oh, that'd be fine.
all right.
Okay, let's plan on that. Thanks, guys.
You're
Okay,
welcome. Have
thank
a
you very
great
much.
day.
Yeah,
Yep.
talk to you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Do we have anything for open forum?
I think we already did it, didn't we?
We did a lot of open forums.
We had to drag it out
None
for
of it
20
was-
minutes.
None of it had any substance at all.
Yeah.
Nobody's online? On the phone? Motion to adjourn? Is that what we do?
No, you just say that we are adjourned.
All right. We're adjourned.
Alrighty.
Some places do make a motion to adjourn,
I've
but we
seen
never
that.
have. I guess
Do it.
we're done. Like different boards that I'm on,
Yeah?
we always have a motion